Hi guys, it's Karen, and we are showing off the very messy desk today with the very messy office. And I am coming to you because I am doing a Sasha Easter dress collab with a few other ladies who own Sasha dolls. This is a Sasha doll, if you're not familiar. These dolls were made in the late 60s through the 70s, I think. Lorraine over at Where the Dolls Dwell. She is kind of our local Sasha expert. At some point I might do it'll be like, you can find this information from other people, but I might do a video about Sasha. So we decided to do a spring/Easter dress for Sasha. And this is what I have so far. I have a pattern that replicates some patterns that replicate the types of outfits that the original Sasha lineup dolls would have come in. And since they were dressed, so you'll see like late 60s, early 70s styles on the dolls. This dress is actually supposed to be 1/2 inch shorter. So I originally made it. Here you can see the original dress that comes with the dolls is in a gingham fabric. I had this like houndstooth / gingham fabric. So I first did it with this, and it mostly came out really well. It was short because I don't know if you remember or have seen pictures of little girls, not, like little girls in the 60s, like toddlers up to like 5, they would wear these really high minis, because you remember the 60s. Come on now, girl. In the 60s, women wore, that's when the micro mini came out, right? And then they would usually pair it with a thick tight so that nothing was showing, or if they were little and they were still wearing diapers or whatever, they would have their little like diaper covers or bloomers on underneath, and super cute. A little too immodest for my taste for an older doll. I feel like Sasha's a little bit older than a toddler, so but it worked perfectly, except the way I cut it out, the sleeves were too tight, and I literally had to, at the hem or at the cuff here, there is a cuff, but the cuff is exactly the same width as the end of the sleeve, so after I had trimmed down, I had to cut it, and I'd already trimmed and finished my seam on the inside with a zigzag stitch, so these became unusable. So I went back to the drawing board, and because again, this was like my mock-up, my first attempt. So I went back to the drawing board, and I just made sure that I had enough space around her hands. So if you can see on a Sasha doll, don't show off my mess, please. On a Sasha doll, they have really skinny arms and wrists and really large, this is vinyl, but it's not like a soft vinyl. I really like their hands. Look how cute. It's like they can hold your hand. But it's very wide around here. It was like 3 inches or something around here. So I had to make sure I redid the sleeve piece, making sure that I had enough clearance at the bottom of this cuff to go around. Also, I'm not sure if the cuff is actually supposed to be folded on top. The directions I was unclear about, so I just tucked them on there and folded them over and top stitched those down. I really like this construction of this yoke. It's very high, so actually the arm sleeve that you get when if for sewers out there and you've never done a yoke like this, you get a top bodice piece and then 2 back bodice pieces, and then you get the bottoms that have like the bottom part of the armhole here. So you gather and attach to the bodice, and then you're left with the second half of the armhole. So that was really a really fun construction that I'd never attempted before. As usual, I find collars, I love collars on dresses, but I find them very fussy to put on. So I struggled with this a bit, but I think it turned out cute. I didn't like the way it was together here, so I added a little bow to kind of like jazz that up, so I liked it better. I used the fork bow method, if you've ever done that. And then this doll came in a blue dance dress with a drop waist and some white tights that were made out of a knit like this, and they're in rough shape. I mean, they're not like ripped or stained or anything, but they're definitely breaking down. The elastic around the waistband is broke down, and the actual knit itself is breaking down. And I had this knit fabric, so I thought I would go ahead and use the pattern that came with this, the dress that I have here. And I have to say, it's a very different construction from anything I've done before, and I did goof it up. So I did not finish these. It's really strange because, and I'll show you why. So I'm supposed to put elastic casing up here and then put elastic. I'm not going to do that. I don't know if you can see this seam in the back. That goes on her behind, which is fine. And then you have this seam that goes down her leg. And then she has her heel here. And then she has a squared off toe, which is kind of like how you would do knit socks, which I actually really liked. And so, but I've never, here's the knit toe here, but I've never made a, yeah, I've never made a pair of stockings in this manner. This isn't fitting quite right. And on this toe, it's too big. So, and you can see that when I put it together, I did this backwards. So I have the butt seam in the front. And that's why this isn't fitting here, because this is the heel and the toe box is here. So it's all messed up. But I wasn't going to redo it again for the collab. I have other things to finish. And I have a real hard time sewing with knits with my sewing machine. And so this was a combination of sewing with my sewing machine and fishing it out as the needle was shoving it deep inside my bobbin case, and or my my sewing plate, and also hand stitching in the areas where my sewing machine just could not deal with it. So there's no way that was happening twice, but I am determined to conquer this. So I will try this again. I'll probably, if I had hand sewed the whole stockings, there would have been no problem, except I'll show you the stocking pattern. It's very, very strange. So this is the entire stocking pattern, okay? So you cut out 2 of these. And then what you do is you fold, so you've got one, and then you fold it over, and then you sew along the edge, and you sew down to the foot, and then you leave this part unsewn, and then you make a box with it, okay? So that's cool. And then you're supposed to you turn one right side, so you make 2 of these. So you've got 2 of these here with this open seam. Okay, so you've got 2 legs. Then you're supposed to turn one of them right side out and slide it in the one that's out, like inside out, and then you sew this up. So in theory, it would have worked out, but as you can see on mine, so I've never done anything like that. Usually with the center seam here, you would make like 4 pieces. And yeah, so I mean, it was a really interesting technique. And had I done it right, you would see that I have this dart. This ends up becoming like a dart sort of, and it's really large. I don't know what's going on with that. I have like it's like large in places and not. It's really hard to cut. It's really, really hard to cut knit fabric. Yeah, I need to definitely find either a different Sasha pattern. It's also too low in the crotch here. So I need to make adjustments. I'm going to adjust that pattern, and I'm going to give it a go again. And I'm going to try a little bit of a stiffer stretch knit instead of this really, really stretchy rib, knit rib, which I used because I had it in my stash, and it was very close to her original knit rib stockings. I think they were knit rib, but they were white. So anyway, and we still have a little bit of wrinkling in here, but so this is 1/2 inch longer than the original dress was. I want to say it was even shorter than that, the first one, which, nowadays a lot of people wear tunics, and so the little tiny dress, although correct to the pattern and cute, looked more like a tunic top to me instead of a dress. So I did lengthen it, and I will keep that length on there. I think it works out. I think it looks really cute. And again, this is very simple to make for Sasha. It's a really great pattern. So I will definitely be making more of these. I hope that the pink daisy, the white daisies on the pink, feels fresh and spring-like. We are still dealing with a wintry weather mix here, and I'm kind of over it. So, but yeah, you can see just it's a cute A-line, adorable dress, and I'm really happy with it. My plan is to make all of there's this collection of patterns I have has both like the patterns that came with the Sashas, so you could replicate outfits that came with Sasha when they were sold originally, and then some like other ones. I would like to make all of the patterns that came with the Sasha. You know, try to make the ones that were in the catalogs that they sold on the dolls, and if there was extras. I was trying to find her original blue dress actually is in that pattern book, and her original blue dress is like pristine. I also wanted to show you her hair had been sitting in a hairnet for 50 years or whatever, since the 70s, and has never been brushed out. And so it still has its original curl set. And I really want to, it's getting a little bit, you know, funky. I had to take the hairnet off because it was just really stretched out and it wasn't staying on. But look how pretty that is. But I've been told online, and like I think Lorraine has mentioned it to us and everything, that these brunettes, their hair is very, very brittle and will start breaking off because the fiber that they used reacted with the dye and it weakened the plastic structure. So I want to play with her hair, put clips in it. She came with a headband, so you know, that would be cute. I'd like to get her bangs a little more flat on her head, but I don't want to ruin her hair. But then I'm like, but then I've seen plenty of dolls that had to be wigged because their hair fell out and they're super cute too. So I don't know. What would you guys do if you had her? Would you mess with her hair, or would you try to keep it as perfect as possible? Because it's already going to, the more I mess with her by dressing her and redressing her, her hair is just going to get more and more messed up. And I'd like to be able to style it and put cute barrettes and things in. So yeah, I don't know, but she is absolutely sweet. I am going to try to get, in the next year, in 2026, I'm definitely going to try to get a Gregor, and which is the male version, you know, the male boy. I'd also like to get a blonde for sure, and possibly a redhead, but definitely at least a blonde. She's just so pretty. I just love their gentle, serene faces. So please go and visit the other gals in this collab. I believe, I don't want to say it because I don't want to forget and leave anybody off, but I will link everybody's channels in the description below so that you can go and check out their videos and see what they made for their Sashas. And thanks to Marna at Dolls Rescued for putting this, like hosting this collab, getting us together to do this. And there will definitely be more Sasha content from other, like, as collabs and solo for me. So please like, share, subscribe, tell me what you think, and I will see you guys real soon with another video. Bye.